Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside the ballpark. My name is NovedPlayer, and welcome to episode 72 of the Noved Notes podcast, where we talk to many different creators and communities inside of the platform. I'm your host, and today with me, we have two amazing Shibas, amazing producers when it comes to an amazing series known as Shiba Squad Survivor. We have Drowns and Evan. Both of you, welcome on. Hope you're doing well.
Doing great.
Absolutely well, yeah.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, of course, thank you.
No, of course. Thank you for showing interest in coming on. Well, first and foremost, for the general listening audience, who are you guys and what exactly do you do in VRChat?
Well, for starters, my name is Drowns, and I'm the producer, editor, semi-writer, director of Shiba Squad Survivor, which is a VRChat reality series that is based off of the Total Drama Island series, or another show known as Survivor. We've been doing that for nearly, 4 years, because we actually had our anniversary of the chat that I released when I was like, yeah, I'm going to give this production a go. That was actually 4 years ago now, which is crazy to think.
Wow. That's amazing.
4 whole years.
Okay, so enough about him. More about me. So, so my name is EvantheFloydian. I am the head writer of Shiba Squad Survivor, and also you forgot to mention we act as ourselves. We're both characters in the show, and I've been doing film and VR for about nearly 8 years. But Survivor is one of the biggest projects that I've worked in, the only series, and it is a complete ride. Such a fun time. And like you said, it was inspired by Survivor, but it's kind of grown into something even more than just a little show about dumb dogs on the internet. So, yeah.
Yeah.
No, fair enough. No, that's awesome, you guys. So, I guess one of the first questions I want to ask, because you guys are working together on making the series. So what kind of made you guys want to produce this series, Shiba Squad Survivor?
Well, I always really enjoyed the show Total Drama Island. And I was kind of a latecomer when it came to start watching that, because I remember it being on Cartoon Network, and I was like, this show's stupid. And then I finally gave it a try. I watched the first episode, and I fell in love with it, and I watched every single season. And at that point, I was like, it'd be really cool if VRChat had a game that was, Survivor themed or something. I hate to mention Roblox, because Roblox can be kind of cringe, but Roblox actually has a pretty great Survivor-based game where you do these simple little challenges, and you get somebody could get voted off. And I was like, it would be even cooler if we had a TV show based off of Total Drama Island, and not only that, had a lot of our close friends be the competitors or the cast members of the show. So it originally was just going to be kind of a skit kind of thing, nothing too crazy, which is why episode 1 and 2 are kind of eh. But then it started to grow, people became more interested, and as it progressed, there's a huge increase in the quality and just the overall production size.
So when I was working on a feature film called Assassination, Shiba King Assassination, now the Shiba community has always been known for creative and kind of film stuff, and we were working on a feature film. We wanted to do a big project like that, and at the time I was the co-writer for that, but Drowns was an actor in the film, and I didn't really know him too well, but then we kind of started talking a little bit. And towards the end of production of Assassination, he told me that he was working on a Shiba series, and I grew up with Survivor. I always watched that with my family, so I was like, yeah, that sounds like a really good idea, and I'd be playing as an exaggerated version of myself. And so I helped him, act. I wasn't really involved too much, but then around episode 3 or 4, I came on as a head writer, and I loved doing it because with Assassination, I didn't really feel that I, being 19, 20-year-old, I don't know. I was in film school at the time, so it wasn't really too great. But with Survivor, I was allowed to interact with so many different characters, give so many personalities to certain characters, and it really was such a fun time, and I love doing it every single episode. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, and to add to that, like I mentioned before, Rectal Bisque was a huge inspiration for me as well because he's like the head director kind of Shiba King Assassination, as well as the person who did the entire Shiba King series. And he himself is an incredible cinematographer. I think Shiba King Assassination still has some of the best camera work I've ever seen.
In VRChat, yeah.
Yeah.
In
VRChat.
Bisque has literally he's worked on shows like Rick and Morty, Bill and Mandy, and all these different shows. And he's worked in Hollywood for decades, so he knows what he's doing.
Fair enough. I didn't know that. That's crazy. What the hell? That's awesome. But yeah, it's definitely crazy to think about that you guys have been going for so long. Because obviously a lot of things have changed over the time you guys started the project, versus now. Obviously VRChat as a platform has changed so much since then till now. So I guess one of the questions I wanted to ask in that regard. So when you guys first started out, obviously a lot of things when it comes to camera systems and stuff like that, it's a lot different. So what was like kind of one of the struggles starting off when it comes to like the camera side of things?
Well, definitely my lack of experience. I didn't really have a lot of knowledge on cinematography whatsoever. There was a lot of times I would break the 180 rule. I'm not saying you did it, but you would yell at me. But that, and just when we first started Survivor, VRChat just released the update for the camera where it had like the focus features where you could blur the background and everything. And it was kind of primitive compared to what it is now. I ended up moving away from that because it didn't look as good and it didn't have as much features as VRC Lens. And now here we are in 2025, VRChat's camera has more features than VRC Lens. I still prefer to use the VRC Lens at this point because I'm just more used to it. I'm more used to the drone feature. I'm good at controlling it. And I think it overall looks a little better than the VRC camera. But yeah, definitely I'd say for the biggest struggle is for sure my lack of experience.
Yeah, and again, I've been making films in VRChat since about early 2019, and that was when the VRChat camera, it was basically just either you take a picture, you have 5 filters, or you just stream what the camera sees to your monitor, your stream camera. And there was no focus. You couldn't even zoom. I don't think so. I hope someone corrects me on that. But at the time, you really couldn't do anything with your camera, or it was very limited, I guess. And I did make a film in 2019 called Us and Them, and that was just with what I was able to do, and it was more using VFX to do some of those tricky visuals and get some of that clarity. But since then, when VRC, I knew for a fact that something like VRC Lens would come because I just wanted something with focus, something with zoom. And when I saw the first version of VRC Lens, I was like, oh, this is it. This is what we're going to use. And hopefully the VRChat camera will have that as well, which now Drowns likes to use VRC Lens, and I personally like to use the default camera, mainly because I'm not really a videographer. I do like being behind the camera, but I also like directing and like acting more. But Shiba King Assassination, real quick, that was one of the first instances of making a film in any of VRChat using VRC Lens, and we used it to make a feature because it was so new and we knew we needed this. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, we talked about VRC Lens, but now there's like other assets out there that help with like filmmaking and stuff. I know, for example, for my stuff, when it comes to like B-roll footage for like Project Community and like our opening ceremony and stuff, I use DX's camera path as an example, because this is before the Dolly system came out. And it was just super nice to be able to like pinpoint certain things and be able to fly it in like loops or straight lines and not be all over the place. Trying to fly the camera with thumbsticks, it's not the most comfortable thing.
Adding on to that too, this was still when Melon Loader was a thing you could use in VRChat as well. So some of my like the intro, specifically the intro, because that's still the thing you see when the camera's flying around the island. That wasn't done with like the dolly system that you see now. That was actually done with a melon loader mod. Surprising enough.
Oh wow, that's actually very interesting. I didn't even know Melon Loader had like mods that were for that. Granted, this is before
Yeah, there
EAC
was-
time, so it was okay back then. Calm down.
Yeah.
Calm
what
down.
Yeah, but it worked exactly. It worked exactly like the dolly camera asset. You would, have like points where the camera would fly to, and you could adjust the speed and do whatever else you need to.
Yeah, no, fair. I would say I still kind of struggle with the dolly system, like the new dolly system that VRChat implemented. It's great when it wants to comply with what you're trying to do, but
Yeah.
I know some people have used it quite often, like already, like when it comes to content creation. I'm like, kudos to you guys, because I can't figure out shit. But no, that's what's up. I'll say, because when it comes to, obviously back then, again, obviously there's also been like SDK changes. There's been different quality of life changes for VRChat. So I guess kind of another question, kind of in the same area. So what was some of the differences like going from back then up until now? Like what was some of the biggest changes for you guys when it came to your production, when it comes to like VRChat as a platform, like when it comes to quality of life and stuff?
VRChat was definitely more finicky back in 2022. Well, actually, we were filming in 2021. Yeah, so VRChat didn't function as well. It was a lot of laggy issues. People would be crashing a lot, especially episode 1. It was very much a struggle because we needed sometimes to have like over 20 people on set because nobody was eliminated yet. And kind of losing my train of thought here. But what else was I gonna say? Sorry, my brain is like frozen right now.
All good.
What
You
other
want us to
struggle?
come back to you? You want us to come back
Yeah.
to you later? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that train of thought and I'll give it to you in a second. So, yeah, but I mean, for me, like again, going back all the way since 2019, it was I wanted zoom and focus the most. I was like, when the hell is VRChat going to add this to their camera? Because people stream, make videos. Like it was, the film community was already getting very big, and this is the biggest thing that we wanted, and that's why stuff like VRC Lens got made. So when they announced zoom and focus on the default camera, that was like, oh my, I probably danced up. Like I was so happy.
I just got back to my brain finally started spinning again.
Yeah, I give it to him.
So obviously back in 2021 it was SDK2 primarily. So the world actually had to start out as SDK2, and it was really annoying to transfer SDK2 to SDK3. I remember I was having such a hard time. I think it was like episode 3 or 4. I think I had to switch everything over, and it was like Unity error after Unity error, and I was getting so frustrated. I had to spend at least a month probably just working in Unity to get it to work properly. I think I might even had to have like completely redo some of the world just to get it to work.
Yeah, I would say that that was one of the things that a lot of VR chatters was having issues with, was that SDK2 to SDK3 switch. Luckily there were some tools to kind of help with that by the community itself, which was nice. But I know a lot of people, I mean, it goes with any game, like whenever a big, change like that, there's going to be people that struggle with that change, and makes it hard for a lot of creators and stuff. But I think overall, I think we definitely pulled out of the woodwork when it came to switching from SDK2 to SDK3. So, speaking of like the world side and everything, because obviously when it comes to your guys's, production, you guys do use a lot of worlds to kind of, film and make sure everything's kind of seamlessly transitioning from day into nighttime or whatever the case may be. So I guess, from y'all's personal opinion, which of the worlds that you've used was like the most fun to like film in? Like what was like your personal favorite world, like during production side of things?
Well, I mean, obviously the island. The island is so much fun. It's so free. and I'm not just biased because we just filmed episode 10 and we were all having cabin fever, being in the dining room for so long, filming constantly in there. Yeah, I would definitely say that the island is the most fun because there's just so many areas inside this humongous map that I made, and it just always feels different when I'm filming. Any episodes that are on the island, it's scattered. I mean, it's not like it's one spot. Episode 4 and 10 were definitely a struggle because it was in the same room just constantly, and everybody was getting very irritable, very similar to how they're supposed to act. So I guess it's kind of method acting in a way, but at the same time,
that's my fault.
yeah.
Anytime
yeah,
there's
it's all
like
your- it's
anytime
all
he
your
has an
fault.
issue with anything, it's always me because I write everything.
Yeah, another really cool thing. I don't think you actually know about this. So something that's really fun that I like to do is I don't do it much anymore because we don't really have as many competitors anymore. But like episode 1, 2, 3, 4, and like 5, a lot of like the scenes that required like just like required a big crowd of people. Like if I wanted to show all the competitors, I had to make NPCs and film them like inside of the world just to be able to have them all on screen, or if I wanted to have some in the background, I would place them like into the world and then I would film with them there and have some people like acting in front of them or beside them. The intro is like the only thing you really see nowadays that still has NPCs. Like when it's panning around the campfire, you actually those are all NPCs. Those are all NPCs I animated with motion capture, and they're not actually like people puppeteering an avatar.
Oh wow, fair enough. No, that's pretty cool. So I guess kind of to dive into that a little bit. Like, so how long did it take you to motion capture all these NPCs?
It used to take longer than it takes now. I used to use like a shader thing that you'd put on your avatar, and it was like an invisible screen shader that was only seen like from your camera. So I actually had to have two clients. I'd have my laptop, and then I'd have my full body puppeteer, and the puppeteer would like create a barcode on the side of the screen. I think like on the left side of the screen, and the other client, the one in desktop mode, would then record that with like their camera, and then you would put it into some Unity software, or I can't really remember exactly what software it was, but you'd put it into there, and then it would translate that barcode into a animation file that works in Unity. And then I ended up switching over to Fusion, I think it's called, or
Okay, Fusion.
Mocap Fusion. Yeah, that's a lot better because you can do like storyboarding things instead, and you can motion capture one person, and then you can like pause and then like say, all right, next page, and then you could motion capture another person like in front of it or just wherever you need it, and you can kind of like storyboard the whole entire thing all at once, and then you can then upload it and make it into like as many animation files as you have with every like separate animation you record.
No, fair enough. That's wow. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
we-
that you
we've
guys
Mocap
really,
Fusion
really-
is goated.
We've really like scratched the surface of like the boundaries of VRChat when it comes to like trying to get things to work. I've really tried it because I want to portray a proper story. So I'm always trying to find creative ways to do that without having a million people on set, or if just to try to save time, I'll think of something. It might seem complicated, but in the long run, it's very much worth it because it saves me so much time and aggravation and frustration trying to direct people.
Yeah. No, that's valid. I'll say as somebody who's, done some specific shots for certain communities, videos and stuff, trying to get people to like do certain things over and over and over again, definitely a struggle. To
Herding
say the
cats.
least.
We call it herding
Yeah.
cats.
Herding cats in an ironic sense because you're Shibas, but besides the point.
Yeah.
But no, that's what's up. Because obviously, with 4 years of experience now, filming this and progressing through the SDKs and progressing through the camera switches and all that. But kind of to get more in depth with the show, because obviously there's a lot of writing involved. There's a lot of, getting things together, actors, scripts, all that type of stuff. So I know it's a silly question, but it's one of them I do want to ask because you guys have done the show for so long. Out of all the characters in the show, which one is your guys' favorite and why? Not including yourselves.
Yeah,
Galaxy.
Jackson.
I didn't want to be cliche and say Jackson. I would say either Galaxy or Lake Dude.
Okay,
I'm really digging Lake Dude's character arc right now. It's getting kind of crazy.
I did that. Well, if we're talking about a second, then I guess Jackson and Burner King definitely. Those are my favorite characters to write.
They're all great. They're like every character has so much unique personality to it, and the best part about it is at least half of them. That's actually like their personality in a lot of sense, but maybe just a little bit amplified, just to give it that interest that everybody wants to see.
Yeah, and to add on that's literally how we made the characters for everybody. When we start episode 1, we're gonna make everybody themselves, except exaggerated, of some of whatever characteristic that it is that makes them who they are,
based
or
off
what they're
kind
known
of the
for.
vibe that they gave off. That's kind of how their character developed.
Exactly. Yeah, like my character, which is ironic. Like my character is like super chill, hothead. He's like basically just a druggie. He's like, "Oh, dude, we're gonna go to the lake and go for a swim. It's gonna be fun." Yeah, no, that's my character. I'm the stoner.
I'm the only one that's fake in the show. I'm not a go getter host man. I'm quiet and calm usually. So
yeah, I mean, you pull it off very well.
So
yeah.
Well, thank you.
So, but no, that's what's up. So I guess kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum, when it comes to like the characters and stuff, what is one character you both believe could maybe use more improvement than some of the others? Kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum.
I feel like Saturn needs a little better writing.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like his importance in the story right now is it's just not as much as a lot of the other ones surrounding him at the moment. But who's to say that could change in the next episode or whatever
opportunity. The man who gets no attention, the man who's just in the corner. It's his time to shine. It's his time to rise up.
Yeah, I mean, like I really wish that I could have worked with Basil more, which he is, but his character, his personality was just kind of, he's quiet. So it was like it's kind of tough to, make something out of that. He was quiet and smart, and there's not much else to it. I'm just trying to think of like other characters that, obviously Panda didn't really have much of a chance, but his character would have been great. That's kind of a tough question, especially because like they get eliminated as we go on, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah, and from a writing perspective, it's hard because I'm constantly improving, and the thing is, the characters who were towards the beginning when our writing wasn't like it is now, it kind of sucks because just like you were saying, Panda was the first. Well, I'm not gonna spoil anything for anyone who hasn't seen it, but let's just say the first characters who get eliminated didn't really get to have that much potential, so that's why we're just trying to constantly get everyone, especially that we're getting so close to the end. Now that we have 8 people with the coming episode, we're trying to really hone in on just like, you care about these characters, they have feelings, they have goals.
We really made it important. This is kind of a flaw I noticed with Total Drama, where it's like you can watch like the first season and you can see like who's gonna win just by watching like the first episode, or just like you'd see the final 10 people. You'd be like, yeah, those people are definitely gonna make it towards the end. And then there's the other group of people that you're like, yeah, this person's getting eliminated. It's just like we try to avoid that. We try to make it seem like every character has its own relevance. Yeah, and even if like they seem super important, like their character is gonna have a huge story in this entire show, we could just be like, yep, gone. just like that.
To be
And-
fair,
yeah.
I experienced just that. And I'm not gonna say which episode. You guys got to watch it, but maybe I'll put a clip here, teaser. But no, you guys did that to one of the characters. I was like, yeah, no, it's fine. And then they got eliminated. I'm like, what? So you guys
Yeah.
do a good job of portraying that. You know, funny enough.
Anything for shock value.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I would say, you know, because obviously I do agree with your point of total drama. You can kind of tell who's going to be in like the top 10 or top 5, whatever the case may be. Which I think we can all agree now that, you know, that shows, you know, it's getting up there in age. You know, that show is not meant for kids. 100% not meant for kids.
Yeah.
But
Too much vomit.
yeah. Well, not to mention, like, depending on like what region you lived in, because obviously, yeah, it aired on Cartoon Network, but it also aired on Teletoon, which is where it like originated before it came to Cartoon Network. And you know, back then, you know, they actually had alternate endings to the show where like the top 2, like it would have each individual ending.
I've watched those,
which is nuts. Like you don't see that a lot when it comes to like those type of TV shows. But yeah, it's definitely crazy to say the least. But so obviously you kind of were talking about, you know, giving each character like more story arc and, you know, making sure that you feel like the stuff they're feeling, which I still think you guys did a pretty phenomenal job with some of the episodes. Starting like really from, I mean, you guys told me this already, like before the interview, but like episode 5 on, yeah, hands down, you guys tripled down. And yeah, I may or may not have gotten like at least like 7 or 8 people interested in your guys' show. So
Let's go.
So funny enough, the episode before this, which was a reverse interview where somebody interviewed me because I didn't have time to film an episode. But with Moomy, and I was talking to them about it, and they're like, honestly, I have to watch that because I'm also like rewatching Total Drama as we speak, and I'm like, dude, you gotta watch it. It's
yeah, boy.
So, but yeah, well, you know, because obviously when you guys, you know, started making the series and everything, you got to episode 5, you know, if I remember correctly, that's when you started to get like more out there when it comes to like the VRChat scene and the IRL scene, because you guys were, you know, nominated for Rain Dance. So I guess one of the questions, if I remember correctly, but so obviously, you know, being a nominee for Rain Dance Immersive, so I gotta ask, what was that feeling like?
It was very shocking. Like I wasn't really expecting it whatsoever. I was like, wow, this is a very prestigious film festival, and here I am with all these creative, amazing minds. And it was really cool to meet Joe Hunting, and he's an awesome guy, and so is Jenny's great too. And Mary, is it Mary or Maria? Marie.
Yeah, Marie.
Marie is really cool. It was awesome to see like the pictures, because they had like a live screening of it too in their little auditorium, and that was really cool too. Like I saw like the Shiba Survivor on the big screen. I'm like, wow, that's so awesome. I wish I could have been there. And it's unfortunate we didn't get picked in the last 2 years. I was actually planning on going there. Like if I got picked, I was actually going to get a passport and fly to London so I could actually witness the film festival myself. Unfortunately, we didn't get picked, but that's who's to say there's not another time. You know?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And it was great because we so the year that we got nominated, we actually were so there was a convention going on, and me and a bunch of other people who were also a part of our show and also just some of our great friends, we actually we literally watched the award ceremony in our hotel room. We logged in on my laptop, and we were basically there in spirit and through desktop
had a bottle
and everything.
Of champagne.
Yeah, bottle of champagne. We didn't win, but we still popped that. We still drank it. It was fun.
Well, you got an honorable mention at least.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we were a part of it. It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Count your blessings.
It was definitely a peak moment in my life there.
Yeah, it was great because we were both. I actually worked on episode 5, but I also had a music video that same year that also got nominated. So we both.
Yeah, and the really cool thing is Joe Hunting actually like if you watch the interview, like the Q&A and interview for Survivor, I don't think he wore it for the music video. I'm not sure why, but Joe Hunting actually had a custom Shiba avatar base made for the Survivor screening, which was really cool.
He was a Shiba.
Awesome. That's awesome.
And it fit him really well, too.
Yeah.
I wish he'd wear it again.
Hello, everyone. Real quick, just want to pause the episode right here. I want to thank this month's monthly supporter, Drowns, and the monthly tipper, Lion Turtle 21. Thank you both so much for the amazing support. If you want to support the podcast, feel free to check out the Noved Squad Hangout, where I have all the creator economy stuff and all that stuff. But, of course, if you're making sure to come back to check out some of the other episodes, might as well hit that subscribe button. And make sure to join the group today, because we have some amazing events that we're being showcased at that you don't want to miss. Like the Virtualis Res Online Film Festival on July 22nd at 11 a.m. Central Time. I'll be showcasing 6 different episodes from the podcast with a little bit of interview sections as well as July 26th and 27th for For Harvest Audio Cosmico, where I'll be exhibiting a booth and be DJing on their main lineup. So make sure to join the group today. And of course, let's get back into the episode. Woo! No, well, that's cool. No, it's definitely crazy seeing some of the amazing things that Rain Dance Immersive shows off. So definitely kudos to you guys for, being able to experience that firsthand as a nominee and, getting to showcase that on such a grand stage like Rain Dance. Definitely, hopefully, maybe in the future, maybe you guys will get nominated again. We'll see. Knock on whatever wood. But you're sitting on you're sitting. Yeah, I'll say you're sitting on wood technically, Evan, but you're sitting on a barrel. But no, I mean that's what's up. So obviously, when it comes to the production side again, because obviously there's a lot. There's hours upon hours of filming. There's hours upon hours of editing. So I guess one of the questions I wanted to ask you too, what's like one of the biggest struggles overall when it comes to like production side for you guys? Like what's something that takes like the longest amount of time?
Oof. Well, unfortunately, every episode introduces a new challenge, and that's usually the biggest struggle. But I'd say overall, I think my least favorite thing to do, which is, I guess, considered a struggle, is probably filming. It's a tie between filming and Unity work. Unity is not my friend whatsoever, and I'm always struggling. And there's so many times I'll be like, oh man, I worked 8 hours. Like I'll get home from work if I'm lucky and I'm on like an 8-hour shift, and I'll work for 8 hours or so until 7 o'clock when we have our filming. And I'm like, gosh, I worked that whole time. I'm so drained. And then it's like now I have to film for 2 hours, and I'm even more tired. And then we're about to film a scene, and I get everybody ready. I place them in their spots, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna start filming. And I'll hand somebody a prop or something, and I'm like, here you go. And they're like, I don't see it. And I'm just like,
no, the global sync.
Yeah, something like that. Something stupid. Like Unity always finds some way to just prank me. Just,
It's just a prank, bro.
Yeah, it like I said, it's just every episode has its own like struggle. I mean, I've had like issues like my motherboard fried in one episode, and then like sometimes like I really struggle with the editing. I mean, like there's days I'm putting like 12 hours of editing just constantly throughout the day, and it really just drains me, especially like when I'm doing the sound effects and stuff. Oh man.
Yeah. And I want to add to this. This guy right here is now. Here's the thing. No, I'm about to praise you. I'm about to say good things. So, yeah, don't worry. So yeah, he looked at he was very afraid for a second there. But no, I mean, so this guy right here. The thing is, so I've gone to film school. I made a lot of films in the past. I kind of had a lot of experience in the. When we were first starting out working together, I did help film a little bit, and the thing is, this guy, he's a Swiss Army knife, and he's become one only in the last 3 years. Now, like, me, I'm kind of like him. I know how to edit, I know how to film, I know how to kind of act. Just every single process of filmmaking I know how to do, and this guy has learned it in only a few years. And the thing is, he does it, he's improved so much And the thing is, I didn't really have a job for a while, and I was in school. This guy has been working full time. He has a girlfriend. He's sometimes he doesn't sleep. And the thing, and he does everything kind of by choice. I also can't. We're in different time zones, so I can't really be on most of the time for filming. And he does the editing by himself. He films by himself. He does all the Unity stuff, which I don't even know how to do. And he does it all so great. He's improved so much. He's a trooper. And the amount of effort that goes into it is just insane. And all I do is just type words. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, there's times I'm spending like weeks just doing a simple scene. Like, I don't know if you remember like the scene when Cito's and like he's having like the dream sequence and he's in this like tunnel and like the lights are flickering and then there's like the Shiba that just transforms into a monster. That took me like 3 weeks to make.
That was I do remember that scene, and that was nuts watching that. And like that
again, motion capture.
Yeah, no, that's a blessing, motion capture. I would say, because I know there's another film by D. Ghostly. I actually had him on the podcast, and for some reason, I'm drawing a blank on the name, and I'm going to feel so bad. I feel so bad. It was the one he did that, I think, no, not One Ring.
Is it the back rooms?
Yes. Oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank all of a sudden? Editor, put the title card down there. But where the flowers grow, that's the one. It took me a second.
The back rooms,
yeah. I was trying to remember the name of the film. I was like, but seeing some of the stuff that he did with that, when it came to like, the transformation of the monster in that scene, in that one scene, I was like, holy crap. And then you guys do that one, I'm like, also holy crap, like what the hell. Like it's really crazy what VRC filmmakers can do, because stuff like that costs a lot of money to do IRL, like, or CGI work, but to be able to pull that off in VR in motion capture, it's crazy to say the least.
Yeah. If I can add something real quick, like to answer your question, You were saying like, what's the part we most struggle with. Now, again, my main role is writing, and the thing is, writing is it's one of the most essential parts of a film, because everything needs to cohesively work together. But the thing is, writing, it's not story. But on a lot of films where I'm like directing and writing, but the thing is, working with someone else, where I hand the script to him, I have my own vision for it. And it goes even as far as the acting, sound effects, and even music. And the thing is, he has his own vision, and it's not my job to tell him what to do. Sometimes he lets me, just because I have experience with all, and also I annoy the ever-loving shit out of him. But it's working together on trying to find that compromise of that vision. And writing, especially in the last couple of years, has been it's hard, because you need to find that balance, and you need to think of that story that will keep everyone coming, because you have so many different characters, especially when we were doing like 17 characters. That's really hard to do. Because you gotta give everyone a good amount of screen time, you gotta make them all likable, and you gotta give them all some kind of attention. It's like having 17 kids, like, oh hi little Timmy, oh hi little Jimmy, oh hi, like, oh, everyone gets their own little headband, little attention.
I mean, like, other than acting, obviously acting's a pretty big size crew for that, but writing is really the only one that I don't do by myself. We obviously will credit Exelon with this too. Exelon has been writing slightly longer than Evan has with the show, but like I've said many times before, when everybody's asking, because I get asked a lot about the writing process, and the way I say it usually is we have 3 main writers. We have Evan, Exelon, and I, and typically I kind of come up with the idea stuff. Like I'll kind of plot stuff down. Like this would be a great idea. Like, hey, remember this from last episode, we need to carry this on to the next one, blah blah blah. And then Evan is very great at putting it on paper and making it into a script. He's very good at that, and he seriously cooks when he does his writing. Like I'll like like I won't get much done, and then I'll come back like an hour later and we'll have like 15 pages, and I'm just like, holy shit, Evan. And then we have Exelon, who's very good at polishing it, going through everything, wording it properly, and just making sure it sounds good.
English is hard. English is
hard. Oh yeah.
I say that all the time when it comes to the podcast. I'll trip up over my words. I'm like, dude, English is my first language, and it's the hardest language I ever spoke. But no, yeah, that's what's up. Well, to kind of go more into positive things when it comes to your guys' show and your guys' opinion, because obviously, as you stated, every episode it's a new challenge. So I guess from your personal point of views, what's probably the most favorite challenge that you guys filmed?
Oh God. I want to hear yours first.
Animating the crazy scenes, like the Cedo Tunnel one. That was really cool. I plotted out. There's actually 2 other deleted scenes that I never use, and they're like crazy scenes. Like there was supposed to be one in episode 6 where like Berna has a ginormous like bed fall on him or something, because that was like the sleepathon challenge, and something crazy like that. And then there was another one that we were gonna put in episode 9 where I don't really want to say what it was, because that's later on in the show. I'd rather not spoil anything. But
sure.
There's like deleted stuff. Maybe later on I can actually like fully produce it and make it like a short on YouTube or something, just like a deleted scene. But yeah, definitely like doing the like the crazy scenes, because that's not something you usually come across when it comes to like VR content. Like you look at that and you're like, how was that made in VR? And another thing I really enjoy doing is just like hanging out with the bros, like filming. Just it's fun. Like even though I'm like usually frustrated and I'm just like, can everybody just stop talking for 2 seconds? But at the same time, like I always have it in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm with all my friends and they're here doing this with me because they love what they're doing and they're passionate about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think the favorite part is just, when you, again, for writing, I love acting, and I love, if I know I've done a good job, when I hear myself speak in the way, because I wrote the line, so of course I'm trying to say it the way that I imagine, which is what most actors do. Unless they kind of get a little coach to do it, which sometimes I'll like interject, like not kind of say it like this. You have an idea of how the words are going to be said in context of the scene, but and we frequently always talk about, okay, like a tier list of like what's your favorite episode, like, and usually keeps on being the new one, whatever we put out. But when I write it out and realize, you have exposition, you have the rising action, you have the climax, you have the like all the things that the basics of storytelling. You have the funnies, and then you have the serious parts, and you have just. When you check all those boxes and get that gold star 100% on the entire thing, rather than just 90% or maybe half the episode's really good, it feels great. It feels so good.
Another thing that feels really great, I'm gonna put another line under my answer, is the premieres. So every time we have a new episode release, we have like a whole entire event, and it started kind of small. We actually premiered episode 1 with Assassination, and that was a larger one, because obviously there was a lot of people involved with Assassination, and that was what was more. It was very well known at the time. But we had every single episode we had premieres. We would first watch the previous episode, and then we premiere the next one to kind of hype it up. And I'd say maybe around like episode 6, the premieres have started getting huge, like 30 to 40 to even like 60 people now. And it just feels so great, like, and just like seeing, your own creation like on a big screen, and all these people like there at this very moment are watching it for the first time and hearing everybody's reactions, and they're acting like it's like the new Star Wars or something. Like, they just get so excited, and it's like, it's just such an amazing feeling. Especially at the very end when everybody's applauding. it's just like it just brings warmth to my heart, and it's what really keeps me pushing these and trying to get to the end.
Yeah, and we got a few more episodes to go. And for me, it's just whenever when a joke I wrote makes people laugh, it feels so good. It's like, oh, I made them laugh. I made them happy. It landed. It worked.
We just have consistent laughing. It's just like constant laughing.
Yeah. All the funnies.
I mean, I was about to say, with your guys' show, it definitely makes sense. I mean, it does have a lot of comedic, lines and everything, and it's definitely one that you should definitely go check out over on YouTube. You should check it out after you watch this episode, or pause it and come back after you're done watching it.
Yeah, 7 hours later.
7 hours later, yeah, they'll probably. But no, I mean, obviously, there's obviously a lot of scripting and stuff when it comes to that. So obviously, kind of to go back into the topic of the question, because technically you did partially answer it, but because you said the crazy scenes in particular, and you said like some of the lines and stuff, but was there a particular challenge out of all of them that you guys like personally enjoy over all of them?
It's on like game challenge, I think.
Yeah, like the actual challenge.
Okay.
Should have been
challenges.
That's fine.
Probably the fear challenge. I really enjoyed that one. I liked how short it was and how quick it was. Like one person's fear to the next one, and I'm also such a simp for Halloween, so I was just like, I love Halloween. I love this challenge. This is such a great idea. It's funny, and it's just like, like when we were filming him with his fear of needles, it was just like it was fun.
Which is my actual fear.
He like actually was like freaking out kind of, because we had like an actual needle that Nomer put on his avatar, which was another great cameo to add to that episode. And it was even greater because we got Burner King's like actual mom to have a character in that episode too, who played his grandmother, which was even better. And it was just, that was a lot of fun. I'd say 9, which was the fear challenge, and then 6, the sleepathon. The sleepathon was really fun too. I thought it was going to be boring, but the sleepathon came out really great.
Yeah. For me, I've always been a sucker for episode 7, but also 6. 7 is the camping challenge, because it not only did we have great props, but that was when we used the most visual gags, and I just kept on writing stuff expecting Drowns to do it, and I was just like, do it, please, and then seeing it come out on the screen was great. And the sleepathon was also great because you had, how does every single person react to the challenge, and how are they either eliminated or how do they win it? And with the sleepathon going one by one, people falling asleep and in between, it was so much fun.
It was very entertaining for such a bland challenge. It was my favorite episode for quite a while. Then of course episode 9
keeps on changing.
No, I mean that's fair though, because obviously as you guys produce more, there's obviously going to be like, oh well, we prefer that we did this over some of the old stuff. Of course, that's natural. That's what's up, man. I would say, because obviously there's so much stuff that goes on in you guys' episodes. Like, it's hard to kind of like pinpoint certain things, especially if you do, like what I did and just watch straight through it like a dumbass. But just pure binge watching while my AC was out in my apartment, because I was like, I don't want to like do anything. So I literally laid on my couch, turned it on my 70-inch TV, like my flat screen that I got on a Black Friday from Walmart, and just let it play. I'm like, honestly, this is
yes, Inglorious 4K.
Yeah. but yeah, no, I would say obviously, when it comes to everything, obviously you guys do phenomenal stuff. Like, very much kudos to you both when it comes to your guys' stuff, and definitely excited to see some of the amazing stuff that you guys produce in the future. Which, I mean, you kind of, so you actually did kind of leak the timeline codec, like when you sent me the screenshot. Yeah, this is what we got so far. I'm like, holy shit! Like, I talked to some other VRC filmmakers. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to hear you say shit about how much work you're doing until you see a codec like this or a timeline like this. Like,
that was
right.
I think it was episode 10's. Yeah,
Oh god.
episode 10's timeline was crazy because you know how long that episode was. It was nearly 50 minutes, and that episode took like 7 or 8 months to make. Yeah, that was a. I'm still recovering from that.
I'll show you my documentary timeline. This is nothing. I'm kidding.
But yeah, man, I would say definitely some amazing stuff from both of you. And obviously, like, you know, Evan, when it comes to your filmmaking, obviously you've done a bunch of VRChat films outside of like Shiba Squad and stuff. So I know you've been doing some, you know, amazing stuff with yours. Obviously, unfortunately, we don't have the time of day to go through all of them, but maybe at some point I'll bring you back on and you can talk more about your personal projects and stuff. But yeah, I'll say, surprisingly enough, we're like 52 minutes in, and I'm surprised it did not feel like 52 minutes, to be honest with you guys.
That's right. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
But I'd say, you know, kind of to get, you know, a few more questions in before we end things off here.
Yep.
You know, because obviously, you know, you guys are still making episodes and in production with, you know, episode 11 and on. So I guess kind of to go into the future of things, when it comes to like your production side now, versus like some of your, you know, more recent previous episodes, have you guys done any like new things when it comes to like production side of things that kind of has made it a lot easier, like on you guys?
Oh, I could make a whole entire like 5-page book about that. I mean, first off, my whole way I would direct people. I mean, I was very shy before. I didn't really feel like it was appropriate to like tell people what to do because I've never done that before. And then now they hear my voice and they know I mean business, and they listen to me, and it's great because we get a lot done. Episode 1 to probably like 4, it was really tough because it was like people just wouldn't really listen. It was like, I'm not saying like it was like this all the time, but a lot of the new filmmakers struggle. It's just getting people to listen, and because you'll have like one person in the background, they'll say something, and then somebody who's, you know, going to be acting in this shot will say something, and then it just carries on, and it's like a big chain reaction, and everybody just starts talking. And I now have this atmosphere where people can goof off a little bit here and there, but they know to limit it to like about a minute at the most. And then, you know, after about a minute passes by, I'm just like, I don't even hesitate. I'm just like, all right, ready, 3, 2, 1, action. And they all stop talking as soon as I start counting down, and it works great.
Silence.
Obviously my camera has gotten a lot better. Just understanding how cinematography works and the 180 rule, how to properly use focus. I'm becoming a lot more creative with my shots, especially in the later episodes.
Faster, more intense.
Yeah, pacing has gotten a lot better. What else has changed? Obviously, we switched from cameras. We're not using the VRChat camera anymore. Everybody's acting has improved immensely, and you can really tell that we coach people now. The first few episodes, we didn't really coach anybody, nor did we really dub, because the first episode, we really didn't have everybody's avatars. So a lot of the scenes that you see are actually them acting in the first episode, and then after that, it's more than likely it's not them, and then it's just a dubbed over voice. And fun fact, Exelon literally does all of the confessional like body puppeteering, and he does great at it. Like he knows how to you know, portray himself as each character, and it's just great. And another thing is I've adapted to who I know does the best acting as a specific person. Like usually I'll give Evan like himself, or maybe like Burna King, or just somebody who's very loosey goosey. And you know, other people like Exelon, he does a great job at like Jackson or himself, or sometimes Donuts. And based on like what the situation is, like if there's a prop in somebody's hand, some people do better at that than others. So I kind of limit who I give these characters to, and I try to really make it seem like nobody else is doing the acting except the actual character. Obviously that's almost impossible because nobody. It's kind of funny. The actual cast like never shows up for filming almost ever. There's a couple people like Saturn and Exelon, and like Ceto and Lake Dude. They show up all the time. I'll give them credit, but a lot of the others, some of them can't. They don't have a VR headset or whatnot.
Yeah, and actually, fun fact: so the original actress of Trixie, that was her character.
Mm-hmm.
She left a little bit. I think it was like around episode 4 or maybe 5, and he managed to find public lobby. He basically found someone that sounded exactly, and I mean exactly like her.
Did you notice the voice change in episode 4 and 5?
Very subtly. I didn't know if maybe it was like a different mic or whatever the case may be, and I was like, something's not 100% there. So okay, I guess a little bit background about me. Like I am a musician by trade, and I do have perfect pitch, so I can notice very subtle things like that. And I'm like, okay, it does sound different, but I can't exactly pinpoint why. So no, that's crazy that you found somebody that sounds pretty much
and
identical.
It was literally like the same day that Trixie quit. I remember like she basically was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm busy being an adult. And I'm just like, wow, okay. Well, that's a lot to just kind of throw on me. We're 5 episodes in now and you're telling me you can't do this? And then like I kind of was like, can you please at least just do the voice lines? And she was like, yeah, okay. And I was like, I can't trust that. As a director's point of view, I'm like, I'm going to get to episode 5, have it just about done, and then she's not going to do her lines. And then I'm going to be like, well, shit. But luckily, I was just kind of jumping around in public worlds, and like I found this girl named Olive, and this was Among Us, and it's just like, that's crazy. Among Us, out of all places.
That's
and
crazy.
I'm like listening to her talk, and I'm like, she sounds just like Trixie. And then I was just like, hi, I'm a random person. I added her on Discord. You saw me in this public world. This is going to sound really weird and a very strange request, but your voice works great for what I need.
And she's ecstatic. She
awesome.
Loves the show.
She's awesome. Yeah.
She loves the show. So and she's a great actress. She's great. So he struck gold.
Hell yeah. No, that's what's up. VAs are not easy to come by, to say the least. Like, to be fair, like when I was asked for Project Community, like when I was asked if like I would want to do some of the VA work, I was flabbergasted first and foremost, because I've done like very little stuff that like nobody's ever heard about. And then to VA, like one of the mascots for Project HorrorCon, the Sailor, if you guys ever watched any of those trailers for HorrorCon, which we're going to be announcing another one this October, so stay tuned. But I'll say, being the voice actor for that was completely nuts. I was not expecting that. And like they're like, oh no, you because you do vocal stuff and all this stuff, like we feel like you're able to produce this type of voice if we ask. And I'm like, yeah, that's they give you gotta give me like, oh, hey there, like come to HorrorCon, like you gotta get that like growly, like weird, like chipper old like sailor voice. That it's one of those weird ones that I'm like, that's weird, and people know me for that now, and it's also weird because I'm not used to that, which I talked a little bit on the last episode, but getting recognized for stuff like that is weird. It's a weird feeling. It's a wholesome thing, but it's also a weird one in its own right. But yeah, so that's really cool that you guys found like a voice actress that practically fit the bill, like without even trying.
Yeah, we were very lucky.
Yeah,
thank you, Olive, if you're watching this.
Yeah. Pretty much anybody watching this, like, make sure to go check out their stuff. They make awesome shit. Like,
that's right.
But yeah, we are actually over time a little bit. But First and foremost, thank you both for kind of coming on and talking about Shiba Squad Survivor. This was a blast.
Thank you so much for inviting us, dude.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I've been wanting to be on this show for a while. I've been seeing all the videos, and I'm like, oh, so much stuff I want to share.
No, thank you. No, like I saw that, and you put in the ticket and stuff. I was like, this would be fun. Okay. And I was like, oh, let me watch your stuff. And I'll, just like I do all my people, I'm like, let me review your stuff. And sure enough, like you had me at episode 1. And I'm like, all right, yep. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch the entire thing. And I'm going to like do my best to go over everything as much as I can within an hour plus. If I didn't have to do editing work, I would make these a lot longer, but editing takes the longest time when it comes to these. This felt like maybe 20 minutes, but the editing side will take at least like 4 or 5 hours.
There's so much to go over, and I just kind of start rambling on, and I don't really keep track of time.
Maybe we can have a part 2.
Maybe.
When we get towards the finale, maybe. Yeah.
Or maybe after the finale, you get a full rundown of the show and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Fun fact: the finale is planned to be like at least an hour.
Yeah, and we already have a good we have a good idea for. Well, I mean, of course, if we're gonna do this thing, we need to have a plan. But we've got a good plan for all the way towards the end, and we're so excited. We're gonna get there eventually.
Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Man. But yeah, no, thank you both for coming on and telling the general listening audience all about your stuff. Like, this is fun. I had a blast. It was very lovely to meet you two. I don't know why the Shiba base happy face always fucking sends me. I don't know why. Yeah, because I know you guys. I had watched the. Yeah, I was about to say. I know you guys had watched the Pikapedia episode and stuff. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, big shout out to him because now you get to see in real time on my channel what some of the other versions of the base look like.
We exist because of
avatar.
him. Yeah, the most expressive. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and the fact that base has been around for so long, it's definitely crazy to say the least. But before we do end things off, I do want to give you guys a spot to essentially tell the people where they can find both of you, find your stuff, all that sorts of stuff and jazz. But yeah. Feel free to tell the people where they can find you. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you can find Shiba Squad Survivor on the Habitat YouTube channel. You can also find a lot of the links on Twitter, and we also have a Patreon if you're interested in seeing any like behind-the-scenes content and access to our Discord server. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
Yes. So you can find me on YouTube and Instagram at Psychodraulic. Find me on Twitter at CF Sketches, and I also have a new documentary coming out. Trying to get with the camera. I have a new documentary coming out. Let me switch avatars. It's a feature documentary, which this guy was also a part of as well. VR Digital Frontier, a feature-length documentary, comes out October 25th on YouTube and Vimeo, and is also going around all kinds of VRChat film festivals. You can find that on Twitter at VRDigFilm. Hope to see you guys there. Hope to see you guys watching the film, and also Shiba Squad Survivor. Thank you so much.
No, absolutely. Well, you heard them, folks. Make sure to go check out, of course, the Habitat YouTube channel and all the amazing stuff over on Evan's channels as well. All the links will be down in the description. You all both have to send me, you'll have to send me yours because I know I have the Habitat, but give me those later. But with that, ladies, gentlemen, everybody inside and outside the ballpark, or in the doghouse, I guess. We got 2 Shibas here. But everybody inside and outside the ballpark, this has been it for episode 72. Yes. Of the Noved Notes podcast. If you watched this far, I want you to comment down below what is your favorite episode from Shiba Squad Survivor. If you haven't watched it yet, go watch it and come back to this comment section. Definitely go watch it. Or if, maybe you like some of the clips you've seen, go check out some of the episodes. There's a lot more cooler stuff with a lot more amazing people and actors and all that stuff. Go check it out. But yeah, comment down below what's your favorite episode of Shiba Squad Survivor. Me personally, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of love the chefs not Chef's Got Talent. What the hell, the like
Shiba's
theater
Got
one.
Talent.
Yeah, Shiba's Got
The
Talent.
play one?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
play
number
one.
8. Yeah.
I
That
am
one was
I am
a tough one.
I was say that was probably one of my favorites. All of them are good in my opinion. Like they're all really good and well done for the time.
If you like
that
that one, the new one that's coming out next, I think you'll really like too.
You heard it.
I know you will too.
Yeah. Episode 11.
Yep, episode 11 coming soon. Make sure to subscribe over to the Habitat because that's where the episodes are put out. But yeah, I want to thank you all one last time for watching, listening, depending on what platform you're on. And
yeah, thank you for watching, and thank you, Noved, again for like the third time for having us because this is so awesome. I'm so glad I had this opportunity.
Yeah, it's an honor. Thank you.
Oh, you guys are too nice. But with that, if you are coming back to check out some of the other episodes, why not hit that subscribe button? You're already coming back anyway. But one last time, thank you all so much for watching, listening, depending on what platform you're on. And I will see you in the next episode. Take care and peace.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Noved Squad.